5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute.
5 minute Chit Chatz!
Although racial and ethnic disunity has historical roots, we still face tensions today, not only in the world, but sadly in the church. As adults, many of us are wrapping our head around how to love those that are different than us, not to mention teaching our children. Kristy and her husband are incredible people who felt the tug to be a part of racial reconciliation in their community, and it started with going to a church where they are the minority, not the majority. Listen in as we talk about how when we learn how to love our neighbors as ourselves, we take our children along with us on the journey.
As humans, we avoid discomfort. Right. And so it's not always comfortable to be in places you're not exactly like everybody else. Where you have a different thought process, or where you see the world differently, or where you even praise and worship differently. And so for me, it was a difficult process to invest my heart emotionally there. And for my kids, it was the same thing, because we had actually before this been doing house church for a long time. So it was definitely comfortable doing house church because you're not even getting out of your own space, So for us to move into a space that was not necessarily what they were used to was something where it was even stretching to them.
There was an experience that you shared with us with your children.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about that and your children's response?
Yes. My children, I love my children so much, and they experience things deeply, and they have eyes that are open to see things, but they're still children. They're still learning. And so they came up to us. They had talked about it. They're a really close group. We've got 4 kids that are really close to one another, and they discuss things with each other. And so they actually sat us down. They said, Mom and Dad, we need to talk to you about something. They said, we think maybe that we're not in the right spot. And we're like, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, where we are, we don't feel comfortable. They said, we're the only ones there that have skin color like this. And we seem like we're out of place. And it's hard sometimes to make friends. They're like, we just feel uncomfortable. Like it's not what we're used to. It really was an amazing opportunity for us, for all of us, to open the door and say, this is the Lord's people right here. And it's so neat for us to get to experience a place where you are not the norm. Like you are different than a lot of the people there. And you're going to feel uncomfortable. That's going to give you the eyes to see other people that feel that in different environments. Like a lot of the people that we're going to church with right now have to experience every day in their everyday lives. Like in places where they go in, they may be the only person there of that skin color. And it's like some of these kids that you're interacting with might feel that on a day-to-day basis in other places. And I was like, this is going to give you great eyes to see that and a great ability to have a heart for people that might be feeling like that in other places. After that conversation, I really feel like God opened some doors for the kids. They started getting opportunities to minister to the younger kids there and to show love to them and to help take care of them. And they developed some really great relationships. It was neat to see what God did with that. And the really lovely thing, I think, too, is not too long ago, we've been there probably 3 or 4 years now, not too long ago, when we were praying, my youngest said, Lord, I just want to thank you that we're in just the right spot for going to church. It was neat to see how God developed that in him over time.
I think it's easy to just read the Bible stories, talk about it in your home, but you actually had an experience where they're faced with, this is not just a story, this is reality. So do you believe that it's beneficial for our kids to experience these things?
Absolutely. I think sometimes we get wrapped up in thinking that our feelings are what show love. Like, oh, I feel happy towards you, or I feel loving towards you, or I feel kind towards you. But sometimes the things that you feel in your heart are not necessarily translated into your hands and your feet. Making that jump of I feel this way into I'm going to act this way out of love. Like I love you, therefore I'm going to serve you, or I love you, therefore I'm going to pray for you. That's a big change. And I think that that's something that I need to still learn as an adult sometimes. And so it's neat to see that happen with my kids. And it's also neat for them to learn about how being a believer and following Jesus is not about being comfortable. It's not. It's neat to see him grow those things in my children through experience.
It gets us thinking about the situations we put ourselves in and also our children to be able to experience the love of Christ through just communal living. And so thank you so much, Kristy, for coming on and sharing. I really, really appreciate it. And it's going to bless so many people.
Yeah, thank you for talking with me about these things.
Thank you so much for watching. And please consider subscribing so that you can get notifications when new videos come out every Monday.